Hello.
Hey. Can't hear you, mate, for some reason. Too low, isn't it?
No, nothing.
I think it's my end. Don't worry. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have to come through pretty quiet, but good evening.
Yeah,
Tony.
that's
How you
fine.
doing?
I'm all right, mate. You?
As good as you can be when you're recovering from COVID, I guess. You?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's a reason I haven't got the camera on. And that's because, to quote my wife, I'm fucking disgusting.
I felt disgusting. I've needed so many showers. I said to my wife, like, I smell disgust. Like, my own body odour is annoying me at one point, actually, during COVID.
Yep.
I don't even, like, I had a shower. I didn't do anything, like, for the day. You know, I just, like, moped around all day, did a bit of work.
Yep.
And then it was like, I fucking stink.
Do you know, I went to McDonald's, and then the effort of going to McDonald's to pick up, not to do anything, just to, you know, go through the drive-thru and pick up some food, tired me out and put me in bed for the next 3 hours.
So this could be a very chilled stream. Good evening, fellas. How you doing? Very chilled. I mean, my kids obviously have. My brain is like totally frazzled, but yeah, my kids both have had. I mean, essentially they've had the virus. It hasn't been quite the same in them, but yeah, it's been challenging as well because I've just been so exhausted, and then like doing the kids is exhausting anyway. If that makes sense. So yeah, my brain's just been frazzled. But good evening. If anyone gets enjoyment out of this stream tonight, it'll be great.
This is the COVID stream. This is where we just dribble into the microphones for the next hour or two.
Yeah, I feel like yeah. What are you up to anyway, Tony? Are you doing some painting tonight, or are you chilling?
I'm going to try. I tried to do some yesterday and just absolutely failed. So I've got my Thunderhawk set in front of me, and I'm going to try and put some black paint on some bits that need blacking out. And that's the limit of what I'm going to try and do tonight.
Nice. Yeah, I've
got a big fat brush and really easy bits to do.
Miguel, you should buy a tank, because then you can at least field a tank in 40k. You can't field Sanguinius, right? Oh yeah, look, I've got my June membership goal on screen. Like, that's how discombobulated I am. It's not even June anymore. But yeah, so
can't even find my paintbrush. It was in my mouth.
Yeah, I was 50-50 on whether I was going to try and stream, but do you know what? It's fine. I've always got stuff to paint, so I figure I may as well get a little bit of paint done, right? I think maybe like... So when did you get COVID? What day was it? Like Tuesday?
Yeah, because I messaged you Tuesday lunchtime-ish, to say, I'm feeling a bit shit, just tested positive for COVID. And then about 2 hours later, you message us going, I've got a 40-degree temperature and I've just tested positive for COVID.
Yeah. I just thought I was having a headache, so I walked to work, and my walk to work is like 1.75 miles, give or take.
Yeah.
So I walked into work thinking like, if I get a coffee and stuff, you know, the migraine will blow over, I'll be fine. And then like I'd been at work for like an hour, 2 hours or something, and I went to the bathroom. And when I was stood in the bathroom, like I was just shivering, and I was like, okay, this is a bit not normal.
Yeah.
So then I walked home, and then I think that amount of walking just completely fucked me, because basically I must have had COVID at that point.
Yeah.
So basically walked 3.5 miles, and then I basically collapsed in bed on Tuesday.
I was standing in front of a classroom full of kids, and
Emperor's son donated $10 via super chat. Hey brother, it's good to see you again, but I was wondering how would you best play against 6 Lehman Russes and 2 tank commanders now with all of the updates?
What's wrong with me then?
Right. Oh, Emperor's son, I've not seen him for a little while. He's come straight in with a $10 super chat. That's so
That's
nice.
very kind of him.
Emperor's son always ends up playing against Lehman Russes. And like it feels like every update. I mean, Imperial Guard don't have their codex yet, but they are getting. The Lehman Russes just keep getting hit with buffs. They have Armor of Contempt now, right?
Yeah, well, Steel Legion Baneblades are fucking terrifying because they get their chapter tactic equivalent gives them ignore -1 to AP for AP1 weapons, and then Armor of Contempt as well does stack. So anything that's AP -2 gets knocked down to AP -1, which gets knocked down to AP nothing.
I think Lehman Russ spam like that is going to be very strong against Blood Angels, actually.
Well, the only thing it can't do is hold objectives. But they're going to be nigh on. Like I said, a Baneblade is terrifying.
Nigh on unkillable.
Does a lot of damage. You can easily give it rerolls, but still an 8th edition codex.
So, Lehman Russes are now on a 2-up save.
Yep.
They're ignoring AP1. They're toughness 8 with like, is it 12 or 13 wounds?
Something like that.
I'll check. It's been a little while.
Like I say, put them in Steel Legion, we ignore AP -2 as well.
Good evening, so Emperor. So it's nice to see you. I've not seen you on a stream for a little while. I hope you're well, dude. I'm just recovering from having COVID and having both the kids had COVID, and pretty sure my parent, like my mum, gave us COVID. So, because she went to a bloody concert last week, and if I'd been paying more attention, I would have realised that she'd been to a concert. I mean, I don't keep up on my mum's social calendar, but then like, so I've had like a million messages from my mum: "Are the kids okay? Are the kids okay? Are the kids okay?" Like, if you were this worried about the kids, why'd you go to a bloody concert and then come visit the kids? Because I'm pretty sure she gave it to the kids, so she'll try and give it to us, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, Shen got it from work, and then she brought it home to me.
So yeah,
Because normally I take things home to her from school.
12 wounds on the Lehman Russes, yeah, so...
They're pretty good and they're cheap as chips now as well.
Yeah, 130 points. And the battle cannon is good, right?
Yeah. So there is definitely, I think, somewhere a sleeper kind of brutal Steel Legion armour list, running a load of Lemon Russ, maybe a couple of Armoured Fist squads, you know, the old Chimeras, and maybe a Baneblade just to be a real dick. Chuck in Yarrick to give everything full rerolls.
If he's running 6 of them, then I assume that means he's got a lot of other stuff as well, right? Because he's
It's
going to
not
have...
that many points.
Yeah, that's only like 1,000 points by the time you add in the 2 tank commanders.
Yep.
So if he's got like a ton of chaff and stuff, that's a really, really difficult list for Blood Angels to deal with. And this is...
Well, the only thing is, it doesn't score many points.
No, I mean, if you park it on enough objectives, it can score points.
Yeah, but none of them got OBSEC. So it only takes an incursor to have a toe next to it, and they don't kill very much either.
Oh, I think they kill enough with a...
The Armour of Contempt works 2 ways. So they'll struggle, if you do the maths on it, they'll struggle to kill more than a couple of guardsmen. A couple of Space Marines were shot.
Yeah,
It takes a little while to chew through. If you start towing a load of incursors onto objectives, then he's just not scoring any points. He'll kill you all eventually, but he won't score many points while you're racking them up. It's the only way to beat them. You're not going to beat them by killing them or out-killing them. You win by getting as many points as you can, because their secondaries aren't all that good at the moment either.
Good evening, Chris. Alex just picked up more Sangre Guard yesterday. I got 14 now with Ancient. Nice, Alex. I picked up some more. Is anyone worried about Chaos Space Marines? I mean, Chaos Space Marines are going to be a lot better.
Yeah.
He double shoots the Lehman Russ with the auto wounds on 6s on strength 10. They can do a ton of wounds. Yeah, I mean, I figure they can do a ton of wounds. It's going to have to be terrain. You're going to have to... That game, that matchup is going to be decided on the terrain on the table. Honestly, I don't think, because I think if there's a lot of terrain and you can obscure a lot of stuff, then I think you can win the game. But if there's not enough terrain, and I guess that's the problem with like...
Yeah, if you're playing on Planet Bowling Ball, you're fucked.
That's the thing with like tournaments and stuff. I played at the top table of a tournament where like he had quite a few shooting units and I didn't have any, and I mean, that can sometimes be win or lose, but I think we're going to actually see an emergence of those Lehman Russ type lists. They've been buffed too many times. I mean, even Andrew, who's a win at all cost player, was talking about it the other day. He was like, he's going to a tournament. He was saying that he's going to run like he was thinking of running like, I don't know, as many as, you know, the same sort of list where you've got like 6 Lehman Russes and a few tank commanders, and you're just going to have so much strength. I think he was even thinking of running a Basilisk as like further fire support, but
Basilisk?
I'm not sure. Yeah.
Full payload Manticores have been the sort of staple for all the 9, but I've not seen many Basilisks about.
2 Demon Cannon tank commanders, 3 Gatling Russes, Las Cannon Hull, 3 Armageddon Medusas, 3 Demon Cannon Russes with Las Cannon Hull, 2 times 5 Scions and 1 10-mark Scion. The Table Death Guard in 3 turns, Armor Contempt and Russes is going to be nasty paired with 2 up save, 8, yeah. Ran that in RTT in air, and the team's...
The Justice 35 donated $5 via Super Chat. Hope you feel better soon. Best wishes to you all. Thoughts on Horus Heresy?
I played a little game against Guard the other day. It wasn't quite as Lemon Russy heavy as that, but it had a Baneblade in it.
No, but definitely.
Same sort of game, and the only way I just gave up, didn't even try and kill it. Just ran around hiding from the big guns the entire game, trying to get as many points as I could.
Yeah, secondaries that can score points are going to be important.
Don't take anything that you have to kill him for, because you're not going to.
Yeah, any unit that you leave out and exposed, he's going to kill. He's just got so much firepower.
And you won't be able to kill him back. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Unless you're spec'd into it.
And Demolisher cannons and the battle cannons, I mean, they're going to wreck 2 Wound Marines. Most of the time they'll do 50% damage. Most of the time you're going to be saving on like 4s or 5s. You've not got reliable saves.
Yeah. I mean, well, let's do the maths, can't we? What's it? 2d6. Demolish cannon gets d6 shots at fire twice, so 2d6. So you're going to get what? 7 shots. You're going to hit with 2/3 of those. You're going to hit with about 4 of those shots. You're going to wound with 2/3 of those. No, you're going to wound, if you're against infantry, you're going to wound more than that. You're going to wound with all of them, more or less. So let's say you get, 5 wounds through. D6
Still in like 3 Marines from each one.
Is it AP -4, the Demolisher cannon?
-3.
AP -3, so you're saving on 5, so he's probably going to kill 2 or 3 with each round of shooting.
Yeah, and if he's... Yeah, I mean, the way that you're winning that game is you're hiding.
Yeah.
You're hiding your entire army obscured as much as possible, and you're jumping out and contesting 1 objective a turn or something with 1 unit. So you've got like a 6-man squad of Sangre Guard that you're happy to throw away in turn 1. You got a 6-man squad of Sangre Guard you're happy to throw in turn 2, and so on and so forth. So you're just going to sit on like 2 or 3 objectives in each turn. You're going to throw one of your units onto an objective to try and flip it. If you go second, even
You've got
better.
plenty of OBSEC and units. Because things like transhuman on Incursus and stuff like that will really mess up those numbers.
It won't though, dude. He's got far too many.
Wait, you said he's got 4 demolisher cannons, hasn't he?
Yeah, but I mean, you're talking. He's got.
So 4 demolisher cannons. That's what. That's times all my numbers by 4.
Yeah, but then he's got 4 battle cannons as well, and he's got las cannons on the hulls, and he's got Gatling cannons as well. I mean, like, it's
a lot.
those Gatling cannons have like heavy 20, do they not?
Yeah, but AP nothing.
Sure, but heavy 20 times 3, that's 60 shots, strength 5, you know?
Hitting on 4s, so 30 hits. Wounding on
3s. But remember,
so 20 wounds. It's going to kill. Yeah, if you fired them all into one squad, he'd probably kill a small squad of normal Marines.
I think it's scary. I think we're going to see
It's scary.
that.
It's absolutely scary. You've got to win by scoring quicker than he can kill you. Or scoring more than he can kill.
Let me turn the music right down. It's because I'm being quiet because my daughter is she's not in a room with a baby monitor. I guess she's got COVID as well, so or she's ill. It must be COVID. I don't know what else it would be, but yeah.
You've got COVID and everybody else has got COVID. She's probably got COVID.
Yeah. Let me know if that's better, Boz. Sorry. I'll try. I said before Emperor Sun that I'll try and get a game on the stream. I said it a while back. I mean, I should have done it by now. I'm sorry. I'll try and get a game on the stream against like a Lehman Russ list. I'll badger Andrew because it was Andrew that's got the tanks. And the thing is, Andrew likes to play what he thinks is like broken or overpowered. So if they are actually legitimately coming through with,
if he's running them, it means they're probably broken or overpowered.
I was going to say, if he's considered running them, they probably mean that they're kind of overpowered at the moment. So we may... I don't know how I would beat it. I think I'd have to do exactly what Tony says and just hide and just do...
Just try and get points, that's all you can do.
I was going to say, if you watch the masterclass video I put out on... what green do I use? I use Warpstone green. Is it? Warpstone Glow, sorry. If you watch the masterclass video that I made, I feel like a game I feel like I would play it the same way. Like I feel like I would I'd be aiming to like obscure as much of my stuff as possible and just jump out one unit every turn. Because otherwise, honestly, I don't know how you beat that list.
I don't know how you do it. I couldn't do it in a straight killing match.
No, and you can't even take armor to beat into it as well.
Like I say, I was playing. Actually, one of our only Grot Patreons, Kata, has got a guard army and he's super into it. And he sent me a message the other day, like, check this out. And I was like, oh, fuck off. That's my initial response to it. I don't want to play against that.
Oh, he can double
It'll be the
fire.
dullest game ever because you're just going to spend the whole game hiding.
Yeah. And he can double fire the Gatling cannons, Pyre says in chat, so he gets 120 strength 5 AP shots.
Stupid vehicles. I know you can double tap the demolishers and the battle cannon. I didn't know you could double tap the Punisher cannons as well. I don't actually. I've never really seen those Punisher cannons being used. It's always demolishers whenever demolishers and a couple of battle cannons thrown in.
Sorry, I got a $5 super chat from the Justice saying feel better soon. I do appreciate that, dude. I will be better. I think like maybe 24 or 48 hours. I went for like a small ass walk today, like a mile and a half or something, and then it like people talk about like not being able to catch your breath after COVID, and I was like, yeah, is that, you know, it's actually it can be pretty true. Like I barely did any exercise, and then I was like, holy shit, I feel well. Like I was just walking up the stairs and I was struggling to catch my breath.
Yeah.
So I guess I need a few more days. But what are my thoughts on the Horus Heresy? I mean, I think the box that they just recently released looks like great value. I think it's The other thing that I really like about the Horus Heresy stuff that's been coming out is I hate resin, like Forge World resin models. Like, I just don't usually find them that much fun to work with because, like, if you compare them to the new plastic kits,
they're not even fun to play with because they chip like fuckery. The amount of chips I've had to repair on this bloody Thunderhawk.
So the fact that they're re-releasing the Horus, or the new edition of Horus Heresy, from my understanding, people are saying the rules seem really good, and the fact that a lot of the models are now becoming plastic. That's the thing I'm most excited about, because over time, all the 30k stuff eventually seems like it can be worth getting for 40k, right?
Most of it, certainly. Even if it's not that good in 40k, it's still cool. And you never know, it might get good, you know? All these things go through phases, don't they? And they're shit for a while and they're good for a while.
Well, I mean, Relic Contemptors are a big example of something that was really good for a good few editions there, and they're from the Horus Heresy, I guess. God, my painting tonight is just sloppy, man. But yeah, I mean, I think it's great that they've been bringing out the new plastic kits. I think if you did buy that new box, you definitely get value for your money.
It's a nice box. I made that video. I know it was a shit video, but I was going through it like really blown away by the sheer amount of stuff in there. It reminded me a little bit of Indomitus, but the book is a lot better than the 40k book for me, because it's got fantastic art. It's really, they put all the colour plates and loads of backstory in there. It's really nicely done.
So yeah, I mean, if you've got $140, I think knock yourself out. I'm probably going to get it in a few months' time. I've quite a big backlog of models that I'm trying to finish up at the moment, so it just didn't make too much sense for me right now to grab it.
Yeah, if you don't need the models and you're not going to play Heresy, then it's probably not worth getting, because not many people need 40 tactical marines with no options.
Yeah, I suppose that's the one.
You know, and Spartans aren't all that much cop for 40k either, because they're too many points. And again, why do you need a massive transport that's only got las cannons? You know, things that get useless if they get into combat. So it's not got a lot of 40k practical reasons to have it, other than they look pretty cool.
All Lumen Russes can double tap now due to the grinding advance rule.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll feel better dirty. Wizard, good evening. Thanks for tuning in. Good evening, Porter. 40k is not in a good place at the moment, says Derek. I wouldn't say it's not in a good place. What I would say is that they're doing a bad job of balancing things, because
I'm salty as fuck over what they've done on my Cussade.
It seems like every new book has to come out and be too powerful, and then every balance slate is not doing enough, I would say.
Well, it either doesn't do enough, or it overdoes it, or it nerfs the wrong bit.
The balance slates have been... You're right, they've just not been right, I guess.
They've never quite got it right, have they?
No, I was having an argument with Kev the other day, because he was very excited about the grots, if not the grots, the squats. They should be grots, but they're the squats coming into the game. And I said to Kev, I'd rather that they didn't add a new faction right now and they tried to balance it. And Kev was like, well, they'll never be able to balance it. And I was like, well, I do agree with him to an extent. I think we talked about this before, how could you balance it? And I think without StarCrafting it and basically pulling everything out of competitive that makes it unbalanced, I don't think they can. There's too many variables. To make it balanced, they need to simplify it, and nobody wants that. No,
I say nobody wants that, but maybe all the tournament players want that, and then all the kind of lore lovers who like loads of weird esoteric units and squats and shit don't want that.
Jacob's going to get some Relic Terminators and maybe a Leviathan. Jacob, I need to get Relic Terminators. They're the cheapest Terminators that you can have, I think. And I think it's cool that they can have both the chain fists and the lightning claws as options.
They're slightly more expensive, but you can give them all a chain fist. I think that's the big difference. Or you can give them a lightning claw and a storm bolt, which makes them really cheap.
Yeah. I think it's great, actually. I think the Relic Terminators are really cool.
I've gone off Lightning Claws a bit at the moment.
Yeah, me too.
AP
They're not
minus
very
2
good
doesn't,
into Armor of Contempt,
excuse
are
the
they?
pun, cut it. It doesn't cut shit at the moment, that's the problem.
It's Armor of Contempt they don't, yeah, that's very
Yeah.
true.
You know, Lightning Claws, your strength 4. Think strength 4 going into those bloody Lebrusses. What are you going to do to it? You're wounding on 6s.
Well, I mean, Blood Angels were lucky we get +1, but yeah, you're
Oh,
still...
wow. So we're wounding on 5s with a reroll. Still not great, though.
No.
And you're, you know, only saving on a 4.
Ugh. I'm looking forward to the end of this, I'll tell you.
Yep. I'm with you on that.
I'm supposed to be climbing the Kieran Gorm next Saturday, so I'm hoping I'm feeling fighting fit for that. My wife was like, you should just cancel it. I'm like, I'm not cancelling it. I'm gonna make it up. Make it up.
Sharon was like, you really going to go and stream with John? I was like, yeah, I can do that. She goes, you can't even stand up.
Yeah, I've been having some fun with my helmets ever since people got very upset about the Terminator wearing the Primaris head.
Oh yeah.
I've now got this Death Company member wearing what's this a
Sanguinary death mask, yeah. I quite
because
like that. I think it looks alright. Just having a quick
well
look on the stream.
my feeling about it was there's nothing in the lore that said a Sanguinary Guard can't
No,
fall
nothing at all.
into the Death Company, right?
I would say they probably fall more often because they're always right in the thick of it and lots of blood around them, seeing people they love dying. It's more likely to trigger them, isn't it?
Maybe. So I was making this Sanguinary Guard here, and so this Sanguinary Guard is from the Death Watch. Like that.
That's unique. I've never seen it before.
Yeah, I've never done it before. Obviously, it needs a lot of work, but I figured, like, yeah, screw it.
quite a cool
This is going to be a Death Watch Sanguinary Guard, because who says they can't join the Death Watch? Sorry, who says they can't join the Sanguinary Guard when they come back from the Death Watch, right?
Yeah, and who says that even when they're in the Sanguinary Guard, they would lose their Death Watch iconography? It probably does say that somewhere, doesn't it? It says, like, if you join the Sanguinary Guard, you lose your identity and take up the identity of the one that you replace or something. Probably.
Derek says what they did with Admech was horrific. Admech got some buffs. Their chicken walkers...
They just got all the nerfs undone, didn't they?
Yeah, their chicken walkers got core back, right? They took them away because they were too good, and now they're back. I mean, that's kind of the ironic thing with the balance status slate is like...
The thing is that they took it away because they were too good. And the thing is that the things they were too good against haven't been buffed, really. Oh, we got Armor of Contempt, but giving them back core just means that Admech are going to blow me off the table again. Just brilliant. Cheers for that. Thank you.
So I guess my
Another army just blows us up.
my thought behind some of my more recent conversion work is like, why not?
It's your army, don't you want with it?
Well, exactly. And do you know what? I mean, the Primaris...
Because that Terminator was fucking disgusting.
That Terminator made me like $100 because everybody in stream wanted to decapitate him, so everybody donated to the decapitation fund. So
well,
I mean, if I
just took the money and run as well, it's like, I'm taking money, but I'm not doing it.
Well, I said that I would have to get enough donations to buy an Astreus to take his head off. I still do want an Astreus. I think they're a lot better with Armor of Contempt now.
They are a lot better. I was thinking about this the other day. If I went to a tournament tomorrow, I'd run Blood Angels. I wouldn't run my Custodes. The Custodes are stay in the cabinet for anything other than a casual game at the moment.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they didn't get anything.
Well, I thought they might have undone that change that took away all their OBSEC. Because now they don't have OBSEC on anything except Custodian Guard because they cost so many points. There's literally only one way you can build them.
And they're so slow.
And they're so slow. It's like, what are you going to have? Well, 3 units of Custodian Guard and something to lead them. There's my army.
Lore-wise, all the Sanguinary Guard are dead by now, so I wouldn't worry about the accuracy. Are they all dead? I mean,
They died in a lot of them died in Devastation of Baal, didn't they?
Yeah, but surely they're getting replaced, are they not?
I assume so.
I actually haven't. I've bought that Astrath book, but I haven't actually got around to reading it yet.
I would like to read that. I haven't read the last Mephiston book yet either. Yeah, the third one in the trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
I read the first two, and I didn't really like them that much, to be honest.
Sometimes the thing that stood out for me on the Mephiston books is like sometimes when they're talking about the warp and stuff, the books can be quite difficult to keep up with. Like, because it's like they're jumping all the sort of mad imagery from the warp and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. I found that in one of the I think it was Solar War. I really struggled with Solar War because there was like so much about the chaos.
Quality is a bit variable, isn't it? I've just finished listening to, because I was using Audible, 1,000 Suns, which is actually brilliant. That's the Horus Heresy, one of the earlier ones. And that's really, really well done. And all it made me think throughout that whole video is Space Wolves are dicks. Horrible. They're just obnoxious.
I've bought 2 of the new Relic Contemptors off eBay for £60. I mean, that's the cost. That's less than it cost to buy one of the resin ones before, or the.
Yeah.
What all weapon options do you get with that new?
You
Contemptor?
don't get if you get the one out of the box set, which is cheeky, but I sort of understand it. You don't get the full weapons options.
Okay, and
If you buy the new plastic kit, you get a lot more weapon options than if you just got that one. It's like missing a sprue.
Okay.
So I think you don't get the assault cannon, you don't get the Volkite options, and I don't think you get all the in fist weapon options if you get the one out of the box set.
Okay.
And you do get all of those if you buy it.
I see.
And that's kind of their justification for it being a little bit more expensive, but the market's been flooded with ones without the options.
Yeah.
That seems fair though. It's the same kit.
I mean, I'm just happy that those prices are like the prices that are getting that I've seen so far are just so much better than the resin kit prices.
Well, they seem compatible with the resin kit weapons and stuff as well. So if you've got a few weapons like I have, and I know you have, John, as well, then you can put them on this new Dreadnought as well.
Oh, that's brilliant.
So
just need some.
Yeah, that's great to me. The fact that they fit together, because I know it's expensive, but the Blood Angels resin Relic Contemptor is a gorgeous kit.
Are they still selling that?
They're still selling the chapter specific ones.
They're just
sort of shitty basic
sprue
one that's gone.
I don't know if I was getting my Relic Contemptors now, I'd probably just get those generic cheaper ones and just slap some extra transfers on them.
I don't know. I think I'd probably get one of each. It's nice to have one that looks a bit different, isn't it? Because I've got the generic resin Relic Contemptor, and I've got the Blood Angels one, and I've got one of those new plastic ones in my Age of Darkness box set.
Oh yeah, look, this Death Company guy's also got a Death Watch. So he was that he was that Death Watch's Sangori Guard's friend. They were in the Death Watch together. They both went to Sangori Guard, but this guy fell to the Black Rage. I'm hoping the Leviathan comes with melee weapons. That would be cool if it does.
It would, yeah. Because I've got both melee weapons, and I think the Claw does look better than the Drill, to be honest.
Good evening, Rezil. Good evening, Maribert. I really hope that I really hope that at some point we get rules for 40k for the salt cannons on the Leviathan, because I always thought that would be a cool option.
They look really cool as well, don't they?
Yeah, and it used to come with the flamers, the Volkites, and the.
It still does. If you buy the BA specific
cannons.
one, that's the one I've got.
Because you can magnetize.
I'm running that in my current list, my Leviathan.
See, I was thinking of running a Leviathan just because I haven't run it since Armor of Contempt, and I mean it does have a 2-up save.
Toughness 7, 2-up save, 5-up invuln save, and it's not that hard to Might of Heroes it to get it up to Toughness 8. And then Toughness 8 with -1 damage and a 5-up invuln and a 2-up save on Armor of Contempt.
You can't Mighty Heroes it. It's not
Can you?
core.
Oh fuck! Oh well.
I would have definitely been running it if you was it.
I haven't tried it yet before somebody accuses me of cheating. I was just thinking about doing it the other day. Still, toughness 7 is still not to be sniffed at with 2-up save, armor of contempt,
No, it's not at all,
damage, and a 5-up invuln. Well, I think it should get its 4-up invuln back if they redo it, or toughness 8 back. I don't know why it lost that. Well, I do. Iron Hands is why I lost it.
I mean, they have to hit it with -3 to make it 4-up now, so I'm not really worried about that. I think that's fair.
Give it its toughness 8 back, or make it less points because 200. But the thing is that Redemptor's got a 190 if you don't give them the little rocket pod on the top, 195 with it, and the Leviathan's not that many more points.
25 more points, yeah.
And it is a better dread. 25 more points buys you
Invuln save, plus
an
1
invuln
wound,
save, plus
smoke
1
screen.
wound, 2-up save.
You get access to smoke screen.
I think that's a reasonable cost for 25 points. Alright, you lose core.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you've got to pay 150, which people are asking in the chat, is it a problem? I mean, if you run Dante, I don't think it's a problem, right?
Yeah.
I think it comes down to whether or not you feel you can fit Dante in your list. I think if you can fit Dante in your list, I don't see it as a problem at all.
No, I don't. I think you're spot on there.
I'm probably going to run Dante in a list or two in the coming weeks.
Yeah, I've put him into mine. I think he's probably the better choice at the moment. I've kept my Tech Marine. I still like him. I still think he's really, really good. And I've still got my Libby with the Null Zone. I still think Null Zone is super important when you're going into things like NIDS or Tau or Custos or any of these other ones. I know it's not quite so important against Space Marines anymore, but there's a lot of things that aren't Space Marines.
Yeah.
I think he's super important still.
I think Unleash Rage does the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm tempted with Mephiston over the generic Libby. I just get so much use out of him. Even Veil of Time can come in really handy.
does Mephisto not become a lot better now that you have to basically completely limit where you spend your CP on characters?
I don't spend any CP on mine anyway because I'm too cheap.
I was looking the other day, I'm convinced I need new glasses, man. I'm gonna have to get an optician appointment booked. Probably too much looking at tiny little Warhammer models has made my short-sightedness worse.
When I was a kid, my dad used to say that to me. He's like, the only reason you need glasses, son, is because you spend too much time looking at those bloody little toys. Yeah, alright. Here's Dad.
We're doing as well as we can for both having COVID, I guess. But good evening, Glitly. How are you doing?
Have you tested negative yet, or are you still testing positive?
I haven't tested again since I got the positive test.
Shen tested negative today, but I'm still positive.
What's the guidance in England for like positive tests? Have you got to
You
isolate?
don't have to do it anymore, is the way it works. And you can work even if you get a positive test, which I think is fucking stupid. You know, I work with kids and that, and what would be great is if I go back in, start coughing over them all and all of my colleagues, and then I'm the only fucker left in school. But they changed the rule to get everybody back in the office.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, no, they changed rules here too. I asked my boss, I said to him, like, I've got COVID. Do you want me to come in, basically? And he was like, no.
mine was like, well, yeah, you know. So we can self-certificate for 5 days, but after that you've got to have a doctor's note. So I rang up the doctor and I was like, look, I've still got COVID. Should I be going to work? And they're like, no. I was like, well, can I have a doctor's note? And they're like, no, we don't give you doctor's notes for COVID.
Okay.
It's like, right, I don't quite know what I'm supposed to do with this information then. I'm just going to go and cough on some kids.
Oh, congrats. 40 player 1 day RTT. That's quite a lot of players for just a 1 day tournament.
So you only play 3 games though, so it's normal sort of games in a day.
Yeah. I mean that's enough
How do you
players for
work
it
that
to
out though?
be a
Because surely if you had
GTT,
40
right?
players and only playing 3 games, you can have a lot of people with similar scores.
Aye, you would, because that's why you do 5 games at a GTT, because if you think of like GTTs normally having like 32, so you go 32, 16, 8, 4, 2, and that means on the 5th game you will have somebody that's gone 5-0 basically, but you only have one person have done it.
Yeah, absolutely. So that must be a real bugger to work out.
That'll be battle points, so it would have to be about winning your games by as many points as possible at that point.
Yeah. I hate playing like that. I get screwed over whenever it comes to that because I still write really balanced lists, which means I never really win by a very big margin. I don't lose by very big margins either, but to get the really big points, you've got to absolutely smash your opponent, and I never absolutely smash my opponent.
So I live to smash my opponent, Tony.
I try and play a bit balanced, so I never win big, but I never lose big either. That kind of go big or go home style of play just isn't mine.
Share the list on their Facebook group or in Discord, get at least other people can see it. That'd be cool. I mean, if you know, if you want to send me the BCP stuff, we could probably make a video on the list. So it's like, because I guess, was that played using the new CP rules, or was it played using Nephilim rules, or was it played using? I know that sometimes tournaments lock in to the old point system, like if it was close to the date, you know.
Gitley, weren't you number 1 BA for a while? I'm sure I remember him saying that to us.
I feel like you did.
So he played Iron Hands twice and Drakari once.
Iron Hands twice, fucking hell.
It's probably the
Iron
only
Hands
2
back,
Iron
are
Hands
they?
players left in the country.
I was gonna say, I haven't played Iron Hands at a tournament in like over a year.
Since Andrew stopped playing it.
Yeah. I actually haven't played Drakari at a tournament in like 6 months. I've seen a few of them, but much less than was there before, I guess.
Yeah. I used to play Dark Eldar and I used to really like them. I love the aesthetic and they're a great fun army to paint. But I've really trimmed down the number of armies that I'm playing these days and I haven't got space for all of these ones.
Yeah, tell me about it.
One thing nobody talks about when you buy a Thunderhawk is the fact that it's so wide it doesn't fit on any shelf ever.
I mean, no one talks about buying a Thunderhawk, Tony, because no one has actually bought a Thunderhawk. That you.
I know it's like first world problems that I've got nowhere to store this fucking thing because all of my Blood Angels live on a shelf and the shelf is too thin to fit a Thunderhawk.
Does anyone else in chat have a Thunderhawk?
I'm going to build a coffee table because at the moment it lives on my dining table because there's nowhere else to put the button.
You're gonna build a coffee table to store your Thunderhawk. Sisters finished 1st and 2nd, they're so strong. Yeah, I mean, Sisters finished 2nd at the tournament I was at just last weekend. It won't be long before Andrew's playing the Sisters again.
They are good at the moment. They are very good at the moment.
What's pushing them up? Is it the Repentia or something else?
It's Armour of Contempt and the fact that they've just had another round of points drops. They're so cheap for what they do. And they've got
really
lots of viable builds as well, which is great.
I really like the build they have with the Morgan Val and the Zephyrum, where like
You basically have Val obscured with a squad of Zephyrim, and it's just like you get full rerolls on wounds and
they've
hits.
just massively dropped the points on all of the flying ladies too. So your Zephyrim, your Seraphim.
Seraphim are the ones with the pistols.
Seraphim are
right?
the twin pistols, and Zephyrim are the ones with the close combat weapons.
Oh, and they both went down, did they?
Yeah.
I know in Bloody Rose the Seraphim are crazy because they just get.
And Repentia are great as well. Anything with fight on death is a fucking nightmare for us to deal with.
Yeah.
Highland Thunderhawk meta problems. Yeah. Snotlings. Do you know what? Genuinely, Foz, I went to Warhammer World a little while ago and I bought two things from there. I bought Constantin Valdor and the Snotling Blood Bowl team because Valdor's cool and the Snotlings are the most adorable models the Games Workshop have produced in years. I'm going to paint the whole lot up on stream one of these days. That's my plan. Each episode of the stream, I'll paint one Snotling.
I think Blood Angels will be strong-ish with the full melee list, but I think that it's going to be... for me personally, I think I'm going to move back to some fire support in my list.
I don't like the full melee list at all. I really
don't mind it, but fight on death can be a real problem.
Yeah.
And, I mean, if we've got Sisters Repentia, that's going to be a real problem. And if they're rhinos, well, that's going to be a real problem too, I guess.
I don't like playing with armies where I'm either going to absolutely smash it or lose. Yeah, for every time we look at tournaments and we look at the winning army, and it's invariably some sort of 3 units of 10 Sanguinary Guard and something else, but it's all melee. But what you don't look at is the guy that came 57th with exactly the same army, but he happened to play 3 times against Death Guard that you couldn't charge, or whatever matchup. If you turn up with an army like that, you can either have like a really amazing run and do really well, or you could just be absolutely boned because you drew against opponents that you can't just charge. And I don't like playing a game where I don't think that I've got a chance of winning.
Yeah, I mean, if the sister player wants to spam Meltas, I mean, they actually nerfed that a little bit because they used to be able to use both Cherubs in the single turn. But if they want to spam Meltas, they can just shoot their multi-Meltas into infantry. I mean, it's enough Melta shots where it will just, like, they can probably wipe like a whole squad of Sangre Guard with like a 150 point Melta unit, you know?
Yeah. I'm convinced there is an absolutely brutal Death Guard list, and I talked about this on my painting stream the other day. I think it's before you joined me on that one. Because everyone's playing Death Guard is still turning up with a big core of Blight Lords and that dude who makes you fight last. But I reckon if you turned up with MSU Blight Lords and deep struck them all over the table on all the objectives, and then you bought as many of those little bloat drones as you could, and you made a fast Death Guard list, I genuinely don't know what I'd do against it. Because it can be nearly as quick as you are, but a lot harder to kill. And everything's got obsec.
People think that the 5-man squad of Blight Lord isn't enough for some reason. Because I asked 2 Death Guard players that both of them ran 10-man Blight Lord. I was like...
It's because 10-man is unkillable, but you don't need it to be unkillable. You just need it to take 2 turns to die.
Yeah,
because it's got obsec, and whatever you're killing them with hasn't.
But also 10-man is unwieldy and slow.
Yeah. Deep strike, 5 of them on every objective on the table, and by the time you've killed them off the objectives, they've scored all of the victory points.
The big issue with the Sister Secondary now, the guy who won it said he'd score 97 every game without even having to try, and he was right. It's almost unstoppable with capable hands. I mean, at that point, I guess you would have to play them and take their primaries, right? Like, they can't score 97 points if they don't have primaries.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess, how do you... If they trade super cheaply or if they trade super efficiently, how do you take them off the primaries, I guess?
They are super cheap.
They've always been cheap, though. I mean, that's kind of the point of Sisters. They're just a toughness 3.
Yeah.
They're basically a toughness 3 Space Marine, aren't they?
Yeah, basically. Foz is going to send me the rulebook. Wait, if you send us the rulebook, we'll definitely do a Blood Bowl Grots episode, Foz. Because I know Mark's super into Blood Bowl, and I can't imagine John would be that hard to talk around for a
I
laugh.
have Blood Bowl.
Yeah, I haven't played it since the original Blood Bowl.
I was going to say, how
Well, that's
easy.
I bought a team. It is literally grots, but Atlas spams 100 Poxwalkers and just does that. There's nothing much you can say to that, is it? It's like, well, come and kill my 100 zombies. Do you remember that in 8th, when that's how you would win? You just completely swamp the board with Poxwalkers. And then it's like, well, you can kill as many as you want, but there's like 200 more of them sitting over here.
And then you can regen them. Or whatever
And then
it's
you'd
called.
regen like 20 of them eternal, something mental. I had that. Do you remember in 7th, there was that really broken Zinch army you could play, where you just loaded up on the horrors. And every time you killed one, you got 2 more.
Yeah.
Because demons didn't cost it out of your army, so you just infinitely summon them. There was no like maximum, you didn't have to pay for them. You start the game basically with like a Lord of Change on the board, and you finish the game with 3 Lords of Change and 500 horrors. And I remember playing that in a tournament back in 7th when I cared about such things, and my opponent just getting more and more angry with me because
Yeah, I
every
was gonna say,
turn I finished with more stuff than I started.
Definitely didn't make a friend that day.
I did not. That was when I was super hardcore, and I used to go to Europe to play tournaments.
That is pretty hardcore. Did you drive it then, or did you fly?
Both. I used to drive more than I'd fly because it's easier taking your cases about in the car.
Yeah, that's what.
But if it's further away, I'd fly. I didn't get that many. I went to maybe 4 or 5 abroad.
Okay. A few, though.
I went to a few. And as 7th rolled into 8th and then rolled into 9th, I got less and less interested in playing tournaments.
Good luck taking anything from Sisters. Well, I mean, I guess we'll see Sisters on the stream soon then, Reziel, if they're that good, because Andrew will want to play them for sure.
I thought he was going to... I remember him saying how he was going to main Sisters, and that was going to be his thing, and he was dedicate all of his energy into playing Sisters, so he got really good with them. And that was how he was going to start winning, because, we talked over that he didn't know his armies well enough because he chopped and changed too much.
Which is
And that
funny
lasted
because
till-
he said that, and he's been to about 10 tournaments in the time that I've been to 3.
Yeah.
And I basically finished higher than him at all, at all the events
Well, he
that I
hasn't
go
taken
to.
Sisters to any of them, has he?
I go to a fraction of the events. Yeah, no, I don't think he took Sisters to any of them. He finished higher than me in one when he ran that stupid orc buggy list.
Yeah.
But the only reason he finished higher than me was in one of his games. He actually played someone who got 10 points off for not painting.
Really?
Yeah, and he would have lost the game, but he won the game because the guy didn't get his 10 battle points.
Shit is that? Would you... I wouldn't take that as a win.
Well, that's what I said to him. I was like, you're really thinking that you finished ahead of me because you played against someone that was unpainted.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, I got more points. I was like, alright.
No, thank you. I wouldn't take that as a win.
It's like, if you must.
If I turn up to a tournament now, it's because I'm going to bring something really stupid.
I never turn up unpainted, so I think that's...
I've never done that. I don't even like playing unpainted on the table, let alone in a tournament. Not for years. It doesn't have to be that well painted, but it does have to be painted. Oh, excuse me.
How long does it normally take you to lose your COVID cough?
Because you've had COVID before, right? Twice
This is my-
before?
Yeah, twice before.
That's
Maybe
mental.
3 times, I'm not sure. One of them was at the beginning, and it was before we got all our tests, so I'm not totally sure it was definitely COVID. It could have just been regular flu. To be honest, this is the worst I've had it. The first time I was pretty rough, but I was really rough for about a week, and then I was absolutely fine. The second time, I barely knew I had it. But this time, I'm fucking shit. I sat down, I think it was day before yesterday, and I did a big pile of work that I'd already done 4 days previously. So
Forgotten you'd done it.
just forgotten I'd done it.
Jesus.
And this was hours of work. I should completely redid. And I bought myself a copy of. I already had They Live digitally on digital download, but I bought myself the 4K remaster of They Live digitally downloaded as well, and I don't remember doing it. I went onto my Amazon. It's like, if you watch this, but I'm sure I don't own this. So I go into it a bit more. It's like, you bought this on Tuesday night. You bought this. It's like, well, Tuesday night I was so out of my head. I don't remember doing it. So it could have been worse. I could have done bought something a bit more than £5 or whatever on Amazon for a movie that I already own.
I guess that's COVID. Yeah, I don't understand people that like, if my list isn't ready for the tournament, it isn't ready for the tournament. I just either won't go or I won't play that list. I want travel half the country and be painting.
I've gone
at like
with a
5
bad
AM.
list because I've not got the good list painted.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I had to bosh a load of war gear on stuff, something like that to make up points because I haven't got everything painted for the good list.
Yeah, I can't be doing with the stress of painting the night before a tournament. I mean, how are you gonna play your best at a tournament when you're up till 4 AM painting or something? Would you not just be better playing a weaker list that you're more familiar with, or I guess that's what I did at this tournament just past that I very, very, very nearly almost won. And
I think that Mephiston was a better choice than Sanguinary Priest.
I mean, he worked.
He worked for that list. Was there anything you would have done different if you had had the Sanguinary Priest? You wouldn't have been able to bosh him into them Zonothropes in your Tyranny game. You wouldn't have been unleashing your rage. All right, you could have put your stuff in Assault Doctrine, but you can do that for 2 CP anyway.
Yeah, the Unleash Rage actually really saved me on that Mal Scepter.
So
because
I genuinely think that you would have done worse if you just traded him out.
yeah, I think we'll see Astrath emerge more.
Everyone's banging on about Astrath at the moment. He's all right. He's
I
still
think-
got the same problems he's always had.
Which is what he can't cast litanies on 2s.
He can't cast litanies on 2s. He's got arguably the wrong Warlord trait if you're going to your enemy's your Warlord. And he's only toughness 4.
I mean, I don't hate his Warlord trait now.
It's an alright one. But I'd rather have Wise Orator. Or whatever it is.
I suppose that's true, yeah. I'd rather have Wise Orator as well.
But yeah, he's a beat stick, but he's toughness 4, and I think he's too squishy for that. I could see people using him not solely, but for a large part of his use being Blade of Sanguinius, because he's great to drop down from Deep Strike I'd do it into cover. I'd never Deep Strike and charge. Get his litany off for a damage 4 weapon, and then go and murderfy another character to get 15 points of Blade. He could be quite good for that because he's only got a little base, so he's easy to drop in somewhere. He's hard to screen out.
True.
Dante's not bad for doing that with either. But if you do that with him, you lose his big part of his thing, which is his buffs.
I don't think I would do that with Dante.
I don't think I'd want to risk him if I was running. He's too expensive. Whereas 140 point Astaroth is not quite so bad if you lose him, is he?
No, well, Mephisto and Astaroth both in at 140 points now, I think are going to be good options just purely because of the CP tax, essentially, this new edition has, or this new Nephilim book has, I guess. I don't know, maybe people will realise that, I mean, if people... Atlas is saying in chat that he thinks Armour of Contempt has helped Astaroth a lot. Well, Mephisto has Armour of Contempt, and he has more wounds, and he has more toughness, and he has a 5-up shrug, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, at what point is Mephisto's survivability? Like, do people actually... Like, how survivable does he need to have?
No, it works out, because what is it? So it's Mephisto's got an extra point of toughness, an extra wound, and a 5-up shrug. Astaroth has got a 4-up invuln. He's got the same save, hasn't he? 2 up for both?
Yeah. I mean, Mephisto... But you've got to remember, you need to hit Mephisto now with -4 to make his save worse than a 4-up, right?
Yeah.
Is it -3? You ignore 1, so he's on a 4-up anyway.
So I don't think that's going to... And the fact that you're wounding him a bit harder and he's got an extra wound, I think he is tougher. I think Astaroth hits harder. That stupid D3 weapon that Mephisto's got is stupid.
Yeah, Mephisto is stupid.
So I'd say Mephisto's tougher, Astaroth hits harder. But the most important thing is Mephisto is the Lord of Death and a fucking vampire, and Astaroth is like an 80s goth wannabe. He looks like, a reject from an 80s hair metal band.
and that's ultimately how you must pick them, right?
And that's ultimately how you must pick them. Rez was trying to pick a fight. Who would argue about it? I'm not going to argue because I know I'm right. Mephisto's got better hair. We don't even know what Astaroth's hair looks like because he's wearing this stupid mask thing. Because he's edgy and cool. He's like Slipknot. COVID's made me bitchy. I was really mean to someone in the chat earlier, and then I felt really bad because I asked for feedback on a model. And I looked at it and I was like, well, it's too busy and his shield's in the wrong place, and why has he got a yellow helmet if he's a character? And then I thought, hang on, you just wanted me to say something nice. The paint job's great.
Well, if you don't have anything nice to say, you don't say anything at all.
That's how I normally work.
Yeah.
But, I don't comment on things negatively. I just don't comment. I'm very tired and I feel quite ill, and my immediate response was, you've asked a question.
Even David's also painting Death Company. I mean, I'm going to be happy when I finish these Thunderhammers, that's for sure. I'm not looking for edge highlighting on these Death Companies.
Yeah, but everyone beats Seth into Submission Atlas because Seth's a useless lump. Even GW think he's shit. They still haven't put him back in his cabinet. They're displaying the Flesh Terrors chapter, but they don't display the Flesh Terrors chapter master because they think he's a twat.
Surely he's getting an updated model. Surely.
Yeah. He needs it, desperately needs it. And the updated Mephisto was a beautiful model. I think it's probably the best Blood Angel specific model that you can buy today. I know that's a bit controversial. There are some fantastic, especially digging into Horus Heresy or something, but I think, especially when you look at plastic kits, I don't think there's a better one than the new Mephisto.
The thing to say about the new Mephisto, which I think is important, is like he's kind of the only character, or he's the only one that we've had that's had a like Primaris reimagining. I mean, like let's be real here. The Death Company didn't get a Primaris reimagining.
No, they didn't even get a new kit. They just got painted black.
They got painted black, and they got the old Death Company shoulder pads put on a new sprue that cost about £7.
It's not even that. It's literally just the Blood Angels Primaris sprue.
Oh yeah, it's not even a Death Company.
It's not even a Death Company. It's just the Primaris sprue that you've been able to buy for an edition. Just put in the box.
Yeah, so Mephisto is the only character that we've had that's actually had like a reasonably decent Primaris treatment. Which is a little bit sad considering how long the Primaris Marines have been around, you know that?
Yeah, me too. I do like the new Primaris Marines. They're a lot of fun to paint. They're a lot nicer to paint than the old Space Marine models are. They've got nice, crisp, clean edges. They're quick and easy. They're nicely posed. I miss all the customization, but they do look great. Just a bit boring.
For anyone that thinks that I don't rate Astrath in chat, I think I do now.
He's good.
I used to run him even more so when he was he used to be 110 points. Him and Lamartis used to be 110 points, and I used to run Astrath all the time at 110 points.
Now he's 140. He's a lot more tempting. Like I say, I think he's a perfect Blade of Sanguinius character. I think he's the best one that we can fill without bombing a load of CP on.
Yeah, I just don't think that's my playstyle, unfortunately. But
No.
I mean, if it's your playstyle, knock yourself out,
Yeah,
right?
go nuts. Resil doesn't like the new Mephisto model because he's wrong again.
Because why?
He doesn't like the head. To be fair, the head is a bit dividing, but they based it on that really old bit of artwork, didn't they? Do you remember the old black and white one?
Yeah, it was in the second edition codex, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it was a beautiful piece of artwork, and they completely rebuilt that in that model, which I think is fantastic. Because I like the licking the blood off his fingers, or wiping the blood away from his mouth sort of look. I think that one's the cool pose as well, rather than the pistol.
I saw somebody, I saw someone actually just putting like a same thing I did with the Terminator, just a Primaris helmet on the Mephisto model,
Yeah,
I guess, because
quite
you didn't
good.
like the helmet, the head, and I actually thought it looked quite good.
Yeah, I've seen that a couple of times now. It looks alright. Even people putting the actual librarian head on him. Because I think you get both in the box for the Primaris librarian. The bear head
do you?
and the
Yeah, that would make sense.
helmet.
I think they'll make a Corbolo Primaris model. If they do make Corbolo Primaris, he really needs to get a jump pack, because there's no way to play him in competitive play at the moment, I think.
No, there isn't.
The only tactic we ever seem to come up with for Corbolo would be like, well, we'd load him into
A Land Raider.
a
with
Land
shit.
Raider with Centurions, but the Centurions aren't core, so why would you even bother, you know? It's just Corbolo just doesn't make a whole heap of sense.
Even in a Land Raider with 14 assault terminators would be quite funny.
Yeah, but I mean, Corbolo just being slow and
Yeah, no, he's rubbish. He's a meme. You bring him because you want to put him in a Land Raider with 14 assault terminators.
I don't know how you I mean, they've got Corbolo off of sale at the moment, so I guess when they bring him back,
Yeah, but they've got them all loads of stuff off sale. I don't think that they're Primarising them. I think they're just taking a lot of them off for literally for what they say, to rotate the. If they're not selling many of them, trying to keep him in stock all the time and have to deal with all the failed cast returns because they're still a bit shit. It's easier just not to sell him.
yeah, create some sort of artificial scarcity around them, I guess.
Maybe then when they bring him back, or they'll bring him back on a limited thing, everyone will start buying them again.
Yeah.
I've got one. I haven't got him painted. I've got two actually. I've got a resin one and a metal one.
I actually have the plastic Mephisto, the old version of him, still in his blister pack.
I'd like that one. I used to have a metal one. I can't find it anymore.
I have a
Some
metal
fun,
one,
but they
but I got
recast it in
the,
resin.
the resin one in the blister pack. I don't know, I got the Games Day Captain in the blister pack from the early 90s as well. You know, the one that's on the front.
Gitley prefers Dante. I agree, Gitley. I think Dante's better than Astrath at the moment. I've got Dante in my list, and I don't have Astrath.
I think Dante is going to be key because of the CP. I think we're going to see.
Yeah, that's exactly why. He pays for my Leviathan with the CP, and his buffs are useful for other things as well, and I don't have to spend any CP to get them. Because I wasn't running a captain before. I was running a chaplain though.
Am I the only one who kit bashes my named characters? Asked Anthony Brown. No, I think a few people do. We usually see kit bash pictures on like Facebook group and Discord all the time for named characters. I don't typically kit bash named characters though, I guess. I would rather just the named characters. I'm fine with just using the official models and then kit bash something.
To be honest, there's none of the named character models that I think are really bad, except maybe Corbolo. I think Gasrath is all right. He looks a bit weird to me with that kind of white face, black. He's got a weird face, but I like his armor and I like his big old axe. Even Dante, it's a really old model, but it's not a bad one. Joe says they were all cool 10 years ago. Yeah, but I was cool 10 years ago, Joe. That's the important thing to remember.
What do people like? There's a question about combining Dante and the Sanguinar together. I don't think that's going to happen. But I do have a question about the Sanguinar. Why was he completely ignored in terms of points drops? Because he wasn't getting any competitive play, right?
No, and he still isn't.
So why? And I think this is the problem with this balance slate update thing. They make it sound like, you know, everybody's really excited about this balance update slate thing.
You know, you can't take that away. Everyone is excited, and then everyone gets really disappointed 10 minutes later.
But then every single balance slate that we've had, it seems like key units are just either completely missed or the changes aren't far enough. You know, like, it's great that they finally looked at Predators. Predators have been broken now for the best part of like 2.5 years. No one's run Predators or something. It's great that they looked at them, but like, is anyone going to be running a Predator on the new rules? I mean, there might be there might be somebody somewhere that's like, oh, I've got this edge strategy for some Predators I'm going to run. But
people who run them before run them because they were cool and iconic, and those people are still going to run them, and they're going to feel a little bit better about it. And then the people who didn't run them before are still not going to run them. So I suppose it's made all the people that did like them slightly happier.
I guess my point is just, I don't know if these balance updates are well thought out enough or something.
I don't know that they are. I don't even know. I'm not entirely sure what the purpose of them is, to be honest, because I don't think they really balance the game, as it were.
Yeah, they haven't been.
I don't think that. Yeah, some people are saying, oh, they intentionally release them overpowered and then they balance update and knock them back again once they've sold a load of them. And I don't think they do that. I don't think they think that much into it. I suspect there's just like a few guys in the office there that play amongst themselves, beer and pretzels games, and like every now and again they'll get absolutely mashed by one of the other guys in the office, and he was running, I don't know, whatever it was, load of Redemptors, and then they thought, oh fuck it, we need to nerf Redemptors. It's just 10 dudes in an office playing each other.
You know, there was an older Lamartis model, Boz. I had him. I can't remember what I've done with him, but the
Wasn't
Lamartis...
he just called the Death Company Chaplain back then, rather than being known as Lamartis?
No.
I wonder if I've still got him or if I gave him away as a giveaway. I might have given him away in one of my giveaways, you know that?
Let me see.
I think I've upset Joe because he's currently sitting there painting Astaroth. I'm slagging him off for being ugly as all shit.
Oh yeah, look, I find it. Hold on.
Foz never liked the Lamartis model. The 3rd edition Chaplain with a round head looked better. Yeah, I thought they did it a bit like they did with Tycho, where it was the generic model, then they called him it, and then they changed the name of the new one to him.
See, this was the Lamartis I had, but that isn't the Death Company Captain out the. Unless there's a Death Company Captain you were thinking of.
No,
I'm thinking of the one that was
Chaplain
in.
Model.
I'm thinking of the one that was in that box, the old red Death Company box.
Yeah, you need to get that out and paint it up.
What, that Chaplain?
That metal set of Death Company.
Oh, I mean, I've still got them. They're just all the problem with them is they're all going to have random ass weapon options that aren't competitive.
Yeah, but who cares? That'd be cool. Paint them up nice. Make sure they're on green bases.
Oh, no, thank you.
Get the flock out. But that
I
bastard
can't
who
do
wanted
it.
his tower commission painted, and he wanted every model of it flocked.
I
And I'm
got
still finding
rid.
flock in my carpet. I can't.
I had my whole army was green based, and I painted over all that fucking goblin green. I shit you know, it was all green based. My whole army, all my Terminators, everything green based. I get rid of it all.
I still think it looks cool. It goes really well with the red.
Oh, I just
It was only when they started in 3rd edition, everyone suddenly switched to brown for basing,
yeah, that must have been me.
and then it's sort of 5th and 6th were all grimdark, and they all went like you got all the grey rubbly bases. And I don't think we've really recovered from grey rubbly bases just yet.
But I'm still using the brown.
Mm.
God, I hated those goblin green bases. I mean, they don't look too bad. They definitely look retro, I guess.
I like them. I think they can painted up well. They can look really fun on the table when you've got really bright red as well. They contrast really nicely against that kind of really bright red, strong yellows. Well, I suppose the more 2nd edition colour schemes.
Goblin green bases are the connoisseur's choice, apparently, says Gitley.
My kill team for when I can be asked to play kill team is Lamenters. And they've all got goblin green bases.
What even is it still called goblin green, or is it called something
No,
else?
they don't make it anymore. The nearest thing to do is Warboss green,
Warboss.
but it's not quite the same colour. It's missing a little bit of goblin green was a little bit warmer, so you have to. I tend to mix a little bit of Flash Gets Yellow into it to get it a bit closer to the original tone, or you can go with Coat d'Arms paint, which is the original goblin green. Resi thinks there's some play in the Sanguinaut. I'm sure there is, and you can do some clever things with that mega intervention, and using that, because it's basically like that Custodes captain that everyone was so scared of that could heroically intervene. But I think he
Yeah,
actually gets a bit
true.
harder than that Custodes captain does.
Yeah, and his weapon does mortals on 6s, doesn't it?
Yeah, and he hasn't got the problem of only AP -2. The Custodes guy has. So there is definitely some play in there. It's just whether it's 150 odd points worth of play. That's what I'm not so sure about.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, the Chaos Space Marine Predator's a lot better Atlas. I'm hoping that we get that at some point.
We're going to need to, I think, for those models to be competitive, right?
Yeah, definitely. But whether they worry about them being competitive for the time being is whether we'll get it or not.
True.
It's the same as why Chaos Space Marines only have one wound for ages.
Yeah, that was almost a travesty how long they had to wait.
Yeah.
That's why I was getting, like, that's why they shouldn't be adding new factions. If you can't make an army wait like 18-20 months for an update, that's just insane.
Yeah. Chris Rob's playing Orcs with his Necrons. I reckon you'll stomp them, mate. I think Necron's in a stronger place than Orcs at the moment. Oh, blimey. There's been a lot of chat that we've been paying attention to.
I mean,
I'm not apologetic. It's a statement rather than anything else.
I was going to say I knew I wouldn't be able to keep up with chat tonight. So, if anyone has a desperate question that they need answered, they can leave a comment. I mean, I do my best to answer all the comments.
I thought that the Sanguinaut was Askelion as well, Lagmeister, but Mark tells me he's not. And he did spend a lot of time telling me who he actually is, and then I wasn't listening and I forgot. But when we see Mark, we'll make him tell you apparently that it's not him and it's somebody else.
The Sanguinor absorbed Mortarian's attacks, which saved my Death Company, who then proceeded to smash Mortarian. The Death Company killed Mortarian? How many Death Company are you running? Do you think it's funny that everybody thought that Games Workshop were going to release like dropper bottles, and then they didn't?
I didn't.
You didn't think they were going to do it, no?
No. And other people were like, oh, it's going to be colour shift paints. I thought, I ain't going to bother with that. I was watching, I don't know, Ninjon or Squidmar or somebody earlier on talking about those new paints, and they were saying that they were not going to swap them because they want you to be able to knock them over, because then they have to buy a new pot of paint. Which is really dark, but who knows? I'm actually genuinely excited for some of those new contrast paints, because there's some of those new colours are single pigment, which is really good, because that means you can mix them with other things without it desaturating. So I'm really hoping. I've always tried to get my my painting faster, get good results quicker, so I can get more done in less time. But a lot of that's for the commission work, but also because I like having a lot of stuff ready to play. And there's a new contrast red called Baal Red, which is single pigment, which means you can mix it with things. And I'm wondering if it will work through an airbrush a bit like the ink. So this Thunderhawk, because it's so large, rather than the normal way I do it is with normal acrylics, but matte acrylics. This time I did it with inks and a matte medium thinned down, and I quite like the finish, but it used a lot of ink and it was quite expensive. And I'm wondering how this new Baal Red single pigment contrast will mix and go through the airbrush, and whether that might be my new super fast Blood Angels base coating technique. As long as I can get the right sort of colour blend out of it, then I'm excited for that. And there's a couple other single pigment ones as well, which will be good for mixing and playing with.
I've never really got into contrast paint yet. We'll see. Maybe one day.
They are very useful, but they have a purpose. And if you're using it for that, they're really great. If you try and use them like GW originally marketed them, like this kind of, you put one coat over the model and it's done, they don't really work for that.
Firstborn Predators will never get better as long as the Primaris tanks exist. It's a weird one, isn't it? Because I don't really see anyone running those Primaris tanks, you know that?
Just because they're shit. Although the Gladiator Lancer's not looking bad.
We talked about that a little bit after we talked about it. Would you rather a Gladiator Lancer, or would you rather 2 squads of Eliminators with las fusils?
I don't know. I'm liking las fusil Eliminators a lot more than I used to.
Yeah, me too. I'm wondering if I need to buy another box of so I got one. What box did Eliminators come in?
Well, you got the monopose ones in the old collecting Vanguard Space Marines box.
Oh, that's the box they came in.
Which
Okay,
had
so
the monopose infiltrators as well.
So that would have been in the Shadow Spear box, right?
Yeah, it would have done, because it was half of the Shadow Spear box.
So that's where I have my monopose Eliminators from. Okay.
And then they also released a multi-part kit of Eliminators, which comes with the las fusils.
Yeah.
There you go. Foz is saying that it's some other sanguinary guard. It's not for the Sanguinor. Resi was saying that as well. I don't know who it is though. What else we got?
I like to paint the Death Company shoulder pads like this. I don't know why.
Definitely, looks alright.
It's
Nice and clean looking. Can't fault it.
Yeah. Gitley said the English flag. Was it Gitley? Yeah.
No, it's a Scottish flag, but with English colours.
we might not be part of you soon anyway, because they're talking about another
I did hear,
referendum.
yeah.
We're going to get to vote again on whether we think it's a good idea for Boris Johnson to manage Scotland. Survey says, it's not.
I think the question though is whether you think that it's a good idea for anybody else or Nicola Sturgeon to run Scotland either.
I love Nicola.
Do you?
Yeah, I do actually. I mean, just because she just fights passionately.
She doesn't seem to take any shit from anybody, does she?
Yeah, exactly.
Quite
You know,
like
like, when Boris was saying, like, you know, he was trying to open everything up at the end of COVID, and Nicola was like, well, do you know what, we're just going to wait 2 more weeks in Scotland. And, like, a lot of people were giving her a lot of shit because, like, you know, people wanted everything, all the COVID restrictions and that to be gone, and she was like, well, I don't think it's safe, so we're not fucking opening up, you know, deal with it. And I do like, you know, politicians like to flip-flop everywhere. That's one thing that she doesn't seem to do. She just says, this is what we're doing, end of. I do like that about her.
Yeah, absolutely. And ironically, that's what people used to say about old Boris when he was Mayor of London, and he sort of come to power on that kind of stance of, you know, being straight and narrow, and then immediately in power became to flip-flop all over the place and became a right sleazy bastard. Nobody would have seen that coming. That was sarcasm if that hadn't come across. That was...
No. I got it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm a bit slow tonight.
So, that's one. What else have we got in this thing? Chris Bellows reviewing them as well. I'm excited to try them out. I won't buy all of them because I'm not a good enough YouTuber for GW to send me the whole set, and I can't afford to buy them. But I will buy a handful of them and I'll try them out, and I'll probably talk about them on Grots.
I watched a video by Goobertown Hobbies. Do you ever watch him?
Yeah, sometimes. Brett.
Brent or Brett?
I can't remember.
One of the two. I know. He did a video on Army Painter speed paints.
Yeah.
And honestly, I was kind of blown away with how good they look compared to contrast paints. For like, just like if you just wanted to get an army off the ground quickly.
There's a couple of things I would say about that. I've got a fair few of the speed paints, and I've got the contrast paints and that here. That I'm not going to outright say that some of this was because a lot of those speed paints were sent to YouTubers and said, you know, have these for free and review them. But they're not quite as good as I was expecting them to be compared to contrast. There are some excellent contrast paints, and there are some shoddy contrast paints, and there are some great Army Painter speed paints, and then there are some shitty Army Painter speed paints. But the thing that I really dislike with them is that you've got to put a layer of varnish before you can paint over them with anything else. Contrast, when it's dry, you can paint over and do whatever you like with. Speed paints, you can't. It reactivates as soon as it gets any bloody moisture near it. So if all you're going to do is slap one coat onto something and you don't want to paint over it, you don't want to do anything with it or anything else, then they're fine, and they are much cheaper than contrast. But if you like to do that as a base coat and then you want to highlight it up, or you want to use it to maybe glaze something down or anything like that, they become basically useless unless you want to put a layer of varnish between every coat of paint.
I had not realised that.
And there was a bit of a backlash over it because all these videos came out when the speed paints did, from all these YouTubers that said, you know, brilliant, we've got these new paints. I've just been sent this lovely box of Army Painter speed paints, and that none of them mentioned the fact that if you paint over them, they immediately reactivate and ruin your paints. And then a couple of like independent people did test them and immediately found that, and there was some backtracking from some of the YouTube channels. Oh yes, we did see that, but we didn't think it was important, sort of thing.
Oh really? Okay, well.
Which that is important. Not many people only put one coat of paint on the model and never touch it again.
Yeah, I mean, if I could do that, my army would be finished. I have to put 15 million coats on it.
Yeah.
Totally.
Because the other ones are the scale colour made, they're instant colours, which there's another contrast speed paint style paint. And they're interesting. They're not. I don't think they're as good as. They're not as vibrant or as saturated as contrast, but they have a much more matte finish, which looks quite nice. But I find the paints are a little bit too weak, and the coverage is, even for a translucent style paint, a bit too weak to get through. So yeah, it's kind of do your homework and don't buy the whole set. Maybe buy one or two to try out and see if you like them, rather than.
Oh, I never buy the whole sets of paints. The amount of paints that I have in the box that I've wasted money on, because like on the back of the box of the models it says you need these 50 million paints, and in reality I used 6 paints.
I used to buy. Do you remember the old mega paint set that had every paint in it?
Yeah, I do remember that.
They
had that on made to order sort of like last year. I feel like it's like $150.
But I still use some GW paints because some GW paints are really good. They get a bad reputation, but they don't deserve it. They are really good. Spidmar did his completely scientific test a little while ago, and whilst I didn't agree with all of it, even he was saying in it that actually a lot of GW paints are pretty good. They've got a nice finish, they're bold, they're easy to use, they're relatively consistent. You look at like Richard Gray and the incredible things that he does, and he uses almost exclusively GW paints, apart from black and white, because they're shit. Gately's commented on our politics talk. We're definitely ill because we never talk politics.
Yeah, no, we try to avoid it. Oh well, I mean, it was big news here in Scotland. It feels like you can't put the television on at the moment, though, without there being some debate on whether or not. They're not even debating on if we should vote yes or no. They're just debating on whether the people should be allowed to vote yes.
Whether it was too soon since the last one. I remember the last one happening, but I can't remember what year it was.
2014.
So not really all that long ago in the grand scheme of things.
No, but I think that well, yeah, let's not talk politics. But I guess enough to make people upset. Tell you what, I did watch
it was after Shen had moved here. That's all I can remember it, because we were talking about it at the time. I've put Foz off buying those speed paints. I don't mean to put you off. It's just kind of buyer beware. That if you're going to use them, you've got to be aware of the fact you can't paint over them.
Yeah, no, I would say that's a deal breaker. I never saw that in Brent's video when he was. I mean, I didn't watch the end of it.
And that's the cheeky thing.
He didn't mention it, or
no.
I didn't. To be fair, I don't always have time to watch to the absolute end of people's videos. If they're more than 10 minutes, then chances are I probably see like the first 8.
Which is why it's ironic that our videos are like 2.5 hours long.
Yeah. That's why I was saying if we do some shorter videos, it's probably
we've got to
not
do
a
some
bad
short
thing.
ones, haven't we?
We do have to do some short ones, yes.
Jim Carroll says that Sanguinor's Alatron. That sounds like such a Transformer name, and I love it.
It does actually, yeah.
Good to know. I was thinking about speed paints. Yeah, they're fine. You've just got to know what you're getting into, Benny. What white does Tony use? I've got a couple of whites that I use. To be honest, the Vallejo model color one is fine. I'm mostly using Chimera's The White because it's a single pigment one, which I like. She doesn't separate very much. What's the other one that I've got on the go at the moment? I've got the Scale Colour one on the go. That's fine. It's another single pigment matte one that I quite like. Then the AK White is not bad. Basically, anybody except for Games Workshop seems to make a reasonably good white. If you want a really, really good white, then you want to go with one of the heavy body acrylics. It doesn't matter who. Golden make a fantastic one. Scale Colour make a fantastic one. The Golden So Flat white paint is incredible. But yeah, there's a few of them out there. You can't go too wrong. Try and get a single pigment one, otherwise it will separate. But I've got the Ammo by MIG white paint. It looks great, and it goes through the airbrush fantastically. But because it's not single pigment, it separates, which makes it an absolute pig to use on your wet palette. Any of those will be all right. And like I say, heavy body is best, but it can be a little bit of a bug at work with if you're not used to it.
Yeah, I mean, this Death Company has the Death Mask, Anthony. Andy has the Death Watch shoulder pad. I don't have any Death Watch stuff, but I just bought the, like, you know, the $8.99 box that has like the 10 shoulder pads, a couple of helmets, the sword. The sword was actually really useful because guess what? Sanguinary Guard don't come with enough bloody swords in the box. So here's a Sanguinary Guard with a Death Watch sword. And he is magnetized because why not, huh? It's basically midnight.
Is it? That's probably time for us to go to bed then.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go to bed as well. Both kind of lost track of time, which is strange because I haven't lost track of time all week because I've been feeling shit from COVID. So
it's probably good for us then, John. We've had a relaxing time. I managed to paint the landing gear on this Thunderhawk black.
Paint a landing gear. Wow. I got so much to do in these Death Company guys, but we're getting there with the base colors at least.
Yep.
I'm gonna try and stream the Army List show tomorrow night. I think I'm probably gonna be fine enough for it. It really depends on how my kids are doing. Just the last couple of nights with the kids have been very difficult. Tonight has been a lot easier actually. But I think it was like last night I had to sit with Annabella for about 90 minutes before she went to sleep in a dark room, which wasn't much fun. But she's just coughing all the time or whatever. But alright. I'll catch you at some point pretty soon, I'm sure, Tony. Thank you guys in chat as well for hanging out. I know it was a bit more chill tonight, but I hope you did enjoy it and maybe learn something. And normal service will resume, I guess.
Yep, I'll try and stream at some point next week. I've just about got everything set up, and then Nurgle got me, bastard.
Are we going to do our chapter approved stream on Thursday night?
Fuck knows.
Right.
To be honest, we should be releasing something on Thursday night because it will be 2 weeks since the previous release. We were going to put a bonus one in last week, but we didn't because Nurgleth got us. So I don't know is the short answer. Probably. Alright.
So the plan will be maybe to be live on the Grotz channel on Thursday night for a couple hours to do chapter approved, assuming that we can get Mark and everything's good.
But because we're both ill, Mark's going to have to do all the heavy lifting on that. I'm just going to supply bitterness and sarcasm.
I better be feeling better by Thursday. I'm sure I will be. Alright. I'll see you guys soon. Good night.
Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Stay tuned.